Evening guys, it's Dan here from the tool room, and tonight we're going to be looking at 5 tools that I never thought would be as good as they are. Let's get into that. Right guys, so 5 tools that I never thought would be as good as they are. Okay, now I'm going to bring on the first one here, and the first one is the lineman's pliers. Now let's just talk about the tools in general first. I didn't think they'd be as good as they are, okay? Now, some of these tools I bought as a sort of intrigue sort of purchase, you know, what on earth is it? Some of these tools I just thought was a complete waste of money, and some of them I knew were kind of good, but I didn't realise they'd be that good, okay? So the first one I'm going to look at is a lineman's plier. This particular one is a Knipex brand one, and this one is the 0912240 for anyone who wants the model number. Okay, now, I'm not talking about the Knipex lineman's pliers here, okay? I'm just talking about lineman's pliers in general. You can get lots of different brands and that lineman's pliers. Okay, if you're going to push me on it, I'd say the 3 best from what I've seen are the Knipex, the Kleins, and the Channellock ones. They seem to be the top 3, okay? So if you're going to go for one of them and you wanted my personal recommendation, those are the ones I'd be looking at. In fact, a bit of fun history, it was the lineman's pliers that Klein actually started out with in 1857. It was that they invented. So what these are actually designed for is the guys who work on, you know, the phone lines and the electrical lines, the overhead lines, really. This is what they're designed for. And every American electrician seems to have a pair of these, regardless of whether they work on the lines or not, because obviously they're multi-purpose and they're multi-use. And I used to look at these and think, what on earth are those massive, huge combination pliers they use? Why are they so massive? Now, let's just give you an example here. Now, let's just bring on the same brand of combination pliers. This is one of the larger Knipex combination pliers. Okay, now look at the difference in the head on this. So that's the first thing to point out. A lineman's pliers and a combination pliers are 2 entirely different animals. They are not the same tool, okay? Loads of people, you know, confuse them, okay? And, you know, you've probably seen, if you follow my channel, I've done a full review on these, okay? But, so, yeah. So I decided, okay, I'm going to see where they are. I'm going to go and get myself a set of them. Firstly, what a pig they were to get myself some at a decent price, okay? I ended up buying these. They were sort of, you know, used but as new off eBay. You know, and I managed to get his credentials. I managed to sort out that these were, you know, in fact, an authentic one through different channels, you know, so I managed to do that. So these are going to set you back, honestly, you know, 40, 50 quid easily, okay? And, you know, you're going to be a little bit more limited in choice. You can get these with 1000-volt handles on them and everything. They're really cool. And you can get them with, you know, your crimpers on them and your fishtail pullers, your fish tape pullers at the back and things. So you can get them with lots of little gimmicks on them and stuff, or you can just have them plain. I'm not going to go into this. Like I said, I've done a review on them before. You can get them with dipped handles as well if you prefer that kind of thing. So there's lots of different ways you can get them, and you'll get the same things from any manufacturer that I've mentioned, okay? What I would say is, if you're going to buy these, stay away from the sort of cheap Chinese brands. You know, it will defy the object of them. Okay, so honestly, guys, British engineers, you need to get some of these. Honestly, they are so good. You know, they are a superior tool to ours, okay? Now, me personally, I never use this little bit in the middle, so that's useless to me. So what I get on these is a far better gripping surface there, far wider, far better. You know, these, you've got the sort of straights on them. These, you've got the nice serrated ones, which are far better. And you get a way stronger HRC rating on the blades, okay? The HRC rating is the hardness rating, okay? Much, much stronger. Honestly, man, these will solve all your problems if you're a British engineer. They're great. Like, you know, if you're walking down the road and you're going to get hit by a bus, don't worry, because if you got your lineman's pliers on, you know, you'll just cut through the bus. It'll be fine. You'll just chop that bus up. No issues, okay? You know, these solve loads of problems. I mean, you know, I'd be surprised if these didn't solve any marriage problems or any financial problems you got. You know, Harry and Meghan, I'm sure they could sort their problems out if Harry just went out and got himself a lineman's pliers. So yeah, I quite like these. Nice pliers, these. But yeah, honestly, I've said this before. The amount I reach for these things is just ridiculous. I mean, the stuff they'll cut through. I mean, all right, let's take an example here, okay? How many of you have had like a really expensive set of croppers like this, okay? And you've had them in your hand and you're like, I'm going to chop through this screw, I'm going to chop through this nail. And yeah, it'll do it. It'll chop through it like butter. And then when you look back at your blades, you've got a big whacking great chunk taken out of your blades. And, you know, that's set you back a load of money, and you can chuck these in the bin then because they're ruined, okay? We've all done it, okay? You know, I've not done it with really expensive ones, but I've certainly done it with a load of CK ones and stuff. I've just chopped through it and I've just ruined my choppers, right? These, you can actually do it. They are standard induction hardened, these things. You can just chop screws in half, you can chop nails in half. Oh, they're brilliant. You can just do it and not worry about it. I wouldn't recommend this, but it says you can even use the side of it there as a hammer. They're just monster. They're just, you know, if these were dogs, you know, this is a manly dog like an Alsatian or a Rottweiler or something, and this compared to is a poodle. Honestly, they are different tools. They're for different uses. Even though they look similar, they are for different uses. The pivot point there is right next to the blades, so these are high leverage. They're 240mm long, which is about standard for these, no matter what brand you go for. So guys, honestly, lineman's pliers. Okay, now I know some people on here are, you know, who watch this are in contact with the big guys, you know. Let's get our Jordans from Artisans. Let's get our Nick Bundy and Adams. You know, let's get them. I know David Savory subscribed to this channel. Let's get you guys, you big guys now, you big influencers, getting yourself a set of lineman's pliers. I've had a couple of my subscribers buy them on my say so because I've said they're really good, and they've really liked them and they think they're really cool and they agree with me. The only downside is they've said it's a little bit bulky perhaps, you know. But you know, if you're in contact with these guys, you know, tell them to get themselves some of these. I know there's some people who know them, okay? So tell them to get themselves up to these. And then I can take credit for being the man who was solely responsible for making lineman's pliers popular in Britain, okay? That's what I want to do. That is my aim. Whether it'll happen, I don't know. But come on, it'd be really cool if it did, wouldn't it? Come on, because these are, honestly, guys, any of you Sparkies watching these, they are bulky, yeah, but if you keep them in your bag and just have them, you will, honestly, you'll be surprised how often you reach for these. This is one thing the Americans have got absolutely right. They don't use these things, okay? And, you know, they are different tools, but if I had to choose one or the other, if I had to chuck one of them in the bin because someone had a gun to my head, those would go in the bin and I'd keep these. Honestly, they're great. So I think I've banged on about these enough now. I'll put a link to where you can get some lineman's pliers. You know, it's probably going to be an Amazon link or something. I'll put a link for these ones, and I'll try and find the Klein ones or something, and the Channellocks, just to give you a bit of a choice, so you can have a look at the different ones. But they're all really good. So, but I'd just go for one of those big three. Milwaukee do a set as well, but from what I've heard, you know, just from watching reviews, and this is just my opinion, it's just from watching the reviews, the Milwaukees haven't come up to the standards of the three I've mentioned. But like I say, I've not used the Milwaukees, I will say that, but that's just from other reviews, okay? Anyway, lineman's pliers, let's put those aside. I'm not going to spend so long on the other tools. Now, this one, rummage. Let's turn it the right way around, shall we? The Wera Tool Check Plus. Now, don't get me wrong, I always thought this would be a decent tool, okay? What I did really object to about this is, let's be honest, it is a glorified bit set, okay? What I did object to is the fact it was 60 quid. 60 quid for a bit set. Are you having a laugh, I thought, you know? But then the story goes like this, okay? So I was on Facebook Marketplace and I bought myself one of the Knipex rolling suitcase for tools. I don't know if you know the ones. But yeah, I bought myself one of them. And when I got to the guy's house, he was selling one of these as well, and he was absolutely mint. It was like new. It was, you know, you could tell it was a real one. He had all the, it was absolutely mint. So I says to him, mate, how much do you want for that? Expecting him to say 40, 50 quid. And he said, oh, mate, you bought the toolcase. Just give me an extra tenner. You can have it. So I bit his hand off, and it was mainly because it was like, you know, I'm getting a 60 quid tool for a tenner, and it was just the principle of that rather than I really wanted one of these and saw the merit of it. But I can tell you, I'm telling you guys, if I lost this or this broke or got nicked or something, I would buy another one. I'm never going to find another one for a tenner, but I would buy another one, honestly, because it's really, really, really useful. And it's useful because it's just any given situation. Let me just show you, for example, okay? This wrap adapter you get over there is a quick release wrap adapter, so it's great for your bits, okay? If you're trying to get into a tight gap, that does get in the way, I'm not going to lie, you know, so it's not good for board. Well, you wouldn't use this for boards anyway because it's not rated, but you know what I mean. If it's a tight gap, like a deep set screw or something, this will get right in your way, all right? But, you know, for shoving it in your impact driver, you know, it's great for that, you know, you just shove it straight in, so you've got an impact driver bit, and you've got all these. If you just screw in, I don't think these are impact rated, but you know, and you know, you've got your nuts you can put on this and everything with your adapter, so you've got lots of different bits for an impact driver or a drill or whatever you want to use, okay? This little screwdriver here, I mean, I'd say it's, I don't use this too often because, you know, it's all right sometimes, but you know, if you just want to grab something little, but I'd say that it's longer than a stubby and you can't quite get so much leverage on it because it's too skinny. So that's limited in use, but it's nice to have, I guess. Now, this, on the other hand, is really good because, you know, it'll get into a gap better than any stubby will. It's got lots and lots of teeth in it, and you'll be amazed how much leverage on this. So this isn't a small gimmicky thing. This is actually a really well-machined tool. You know, they're not cheap. I think they're about 20 odd quid just to buy on their own. So it's actually, this is a tool in its own right, this mini ratchet, and it's very well machined. It's got a lot of teeth in there, so it's a good ratchet system. So all this is compatible with all this lot here. Okay, so you've got all the bits you want, and you know, you can swap those out for whatever bits you use personally, you know, just swap them around. And then you can put the little sockets on them as well. So you can do all that with that. So everything fits to everything basically, which is great, okay? Now that then, if I use that with my little stubby, you know, I've got everything there. So I've got a stubby nut driver. You know, it fits into my extension bar. You know, I've got a ratcheting screwdriver here, all fits in there. So I've got a nut driver, lots of sizes of nut drivers. You know, I've got a Torx driver, I've got an Allen key set, I've got screwdrivers all in there. I've got a bendy one, you know. So if you've got these things and you invest in these things, it's just a really, really useful tool that doesn't take up hardly any space. I mean, for example, if I got my big set here, you know, it's flipping massive, this thing, isn't it? This Barco one. Good set, may I say, but you know, this just fits in my bag and it does everything. So anything I come across on a service, you know, any sort of dodgy little bolts or anything like that, there's something on here that'll just work with it. So this is great. I wouldn't necessarily say I'd pay 60 quid for it, but if you can get this on offer for 45-50, you know, 40 to 50 perhaps, I would pay it. I'm not gonna lie, I would pay it. So I got to tell you guys, this is way, way better than I thought it would be. Whereas before I thought 60 quid, what? I just thought it was a glorified bit set. It's not. It's a really, really well-made, quality, useful tool. So that's the Wera Tool Check Plus. Second one on my list. Third up is an automatic wire stripper. Now, I know you're all thinking, automatic wire stripper, yeah mate, we all know what an automatic wire stripper is. Yeah, you know, we all use them for a good while now. You're behind the times. Yeah, well, whatever, okay, I didn't, all right? So my brother-in-law sort of showed me these, and he said, he was looking at my cutters and strippers, and he said, oh, don't you try and use one of those clicky ones? And I went, clicky ones? No, my brother-in-law is not an electrician or anything. He works in CAD. But he said, don't you use one of those clicky ones? And I, what's the clicky ones? He said, yeah, you click them and they just rip the wire off. So I looked into this and I had a look what it was, and I just saw one. And I thought, well, I looked at the CK one. I thought, oh, it's 16 quid. Yeah, okay, I'll buy one, see what it's like. Didn't really think I'd use it. When I started using it, I thought, this is great. It's a really useful tool. Now, the problem I had with the CK one is they've got these stoppers on them here, and all of them have this, okay? And that kept snapping. I'd go into my bag and it was literally just snapped off. So that was annoying. So I kept having to take it back. So I took 2 back, I think, and then decided I'd just not buy another one of that brand. But then I found this one, which has comfortable handles on it, because if you get the dipped handles, they do tend to, because you're putting so much pressure on these, they do tend to slide off sometimes, the dipped handles. and it had a metal stopper on it, this Klein one. Okay, these are about 30 odd quid. You get these from CEF. And I'll put a link to this as well. These are about 30 odd quid, but they're worth the extra because this is the only one I've been able to find. And I bought this one myself. This is one they sent me, okay? This is the only one I was able to find which had the metal stopper on it and these nice, comfortable rubberized handles that are fitted on a lot better. Some of them you'll get like crimpers and stuff on and cutters like that. Don't go looking at that because, you know, you're not going to use it for that, if I'm honest. It's useful to have a cutter, but you're limited to what size cable you'll fit in there. And, you know, crimper, you're just not going to use them. They're just those rubbishy crimpers you get on them. This one's got the cutter and, you know, I will use this rather than reaching into my bag. But if it's anything bigger, you'll need cutters. Now, I'll just show you this quickly. Now, you are limited to what you can use this for, okay? Because, you know, it's not going to do enormous cables, okay? But, you know, if I get this is pretty heavy duty, earth cable here, okay? And it's stranded, but you click it, and what they do, they just gently pull it across. So it's great, so you can twist your cable with that, so it just pulls it that way, and you can yank it off when you want it, okay? Give it a good pull, and off it'll come. So, yeah, it strips it off, right? And you can see it doesn't mark in any way the copper inside, so it's really good for that. Obviously, you know, if I grabbed a cable like that, it's no good for something like that, obviously, and it's not much good for, like, you know, sort of small, like 8-core cable or something like that, you know, data cable and things like that. It doesn't do that very well because it doesn't go small enough, but it's all adjustable. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller on these, you can set this to where you want it, and you can strip off the same amount every single time. So it's a really useful no-nonsense tool. You take the sleeving off with a click, you know, your sleeving's off, click again, you've taken the ends off your internal cables inside. So for your standard cable you'd use like 1.5, 2.5, you know, this, you use this all the time. It's brilliant, and it just saves you so much time. It saves you making mistakes, it saves you nicking the cables. Yeah, you're going to have your boffins who'll tell you, oh, but you don't learn to do it properly that way. Well, I don't care, because I don't need to learn it properly, because I got an automatic wire stripper. And I'll just use my automatic wire stripper. And if it breaks, I'll buy another one. So yeah, it is useful to learn them. But, you know, these are great. And I'd recommend this, you know. If you're one of those apprentices that just can't strip your wires properly, you know, and you keep messing it up, get one of these. It'll do it for you. Really great tool. Again, one I didn't think I would particularly use, but I do. You can get lots of different makes of it. But like I say, this Klein one, it's a bit more expensive than some of the other makes, but it is the only one I can find with a metal stopper and really decent handles on it. So the only one I know of anyway, so I'd recommend this one. So that's that one. Right, so where are we now? So we have done 1, 2, 3, and now we are on a number. And number 4 is this, the CK plasterboard punch. Love this. It is really strong. It is cheap. $13.99, guys. I paid for this. It's cheap, it's robust, and it's really useful. Now, I saw this on My Trusted Electrician's channel, okay? And I thought, okay, you know, fair enough. And he said, oh, it's really cheap, $13.99. So I went, okay, I'll grab one, see what it does. Thinking I'd just bung it in the bottom of my toolbox and never really use it. It was a bit gimmicky. But what's special about this plasterboard punch is it's got 5, 6, and 7 mil sizes on it. As you can see, it's sort of riveted out. As you can see, riveted is the right word, probably not, but it's machined out. There we are. It's machined out to these different sizes. Now, what would I use this for? Now, let me give you an example of how this is useful, okay? So, say I'm going to, like, I don't know, a school, and I'm servicing the fire alarms, and I notice a smoke detector hanging off the ceiling. I can't leave it like that, you know, because, you know, I don't want all the cables hanging out of it and stuff, you know, it's going to get damaged. So I have to put it back in the ceiling. So I'm thinking, oh man, I got to go back to the van. I got to get my drill out and everything. Well, I carry a little zipper pouch, and I keep roll plugs and screws and stuff like that. And this saves me going back to get the drill. Because if it's like plasterboard or anything like that, I might be putting an MCP back up perhaps, or moving something. If it's a plasterboard or you know, something soft, I can just use this, give it a whack, make the hole, shove my roll plug in, and I'm done. No walking back to the van, which may be miles away, to get your drill. It's a really, really useful thing. It's lightweight, and you can just shove it in your bag, and it saves you no end of trips back to the van. So as opposed to something I thought I'd just leave in the bottom of a toolbox and never really use. And I thought, well, I'll just pay $13.99. It's not exactly expensive, never mind. It is something I use all the time. You can see it's all battered on the top. The shaft goes straight through, and the nib's seen better days now, but it's only scratching. It's still really sharp. It will give you a blood blister if you slip and put it through your hand, just so you know, it is very sharp. But yeah, I'd really recommend this. $13.99. It's really, really good to have, really useful. Just a little labour-saving friend for you. Made in Germany. Really, really solid as well. Really, really good little tool this. So get yourself one of them. Last but not least, now this is a bit of a funny pick, okay? A bit of a funny pick, because this is the Knipex 8603 180. That's just the size. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really entirely sure why I told you the model number, but this is the one I've got. But anyway, these are the Knipex ratcheting pliers, okay? Now, I'm not really sure whether it's actually a real ratchet. It's certainly not a ratchet as in, you know, that. It's not got teeth in it or anything, but what it does do is it opens up, grips onto something, and then you can slightly loosen it by moving the handle like that, you see? What's the point of that, you may ask? Well, it's absolutely brilliant. Now, I haven't used this much yet, okay, because I haven't long had it. But let me give you an example of something every dad does at some point, okay, if you've got kids. I was putting a stairgate up. They are right little monkeys to put up. You know, you got to turn the bolts one way on the one side, the other way on the other side. And, you know, you got a tight little gap to turn it in because it's up against the wall because they never fit right. And you've always got to put little pieces of wood in or whatever to make them fit properly because they're rubbish. But this thing just made it so much easier because literally I just hooked onto the bolt and flipped it around, loosened, and then I just turned it like that. And it was literally, you could see how it was like a ratchet then. It just went like that in that motion. There was no taking it off, adjusting it, putting it back on, taking it off. It was just whoop, 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 just done like that. It was brilliant. So I know everyone raves about these. So it wasn't like a massive surprise, but I just didn't realise. It is something I looked at and think, well, is it that good or is it a bit of a gimmick? But no, it really is a well-designed, you know, attribute of this pliers. And it's great to see, really, isn't it, people doing those things because, you know, there are so many gimmicky tools out there. So something that's actually been thought about, that's been well designed and actually works is great. And I'd really like them to see them do the same thing on one with the Cobra style teeth. And I've even thought of what they can call it, okay? They can call it the King Cobra. Yeah, because it's the cobras with the ratcheting on it as well, yeah? So that'd be wicked. We call it the King Cobra because, like, there's a real snake called the King Cobra, and it's the biggest and baddest of all the cobras. So if you're listening, Knipex, I doubt you are, but if you are, you know, that's what you need to do. So get one of those. I filled out one of the Nip Experts forms the other day because I'm part of that, and, you know, I do little reviews on the tools and sort of say what I think of it and any improvements, and that's what I said to do. Try and get this on a Cobra pliers, and it'd be great. But yeah, these are great little tools. They are really daft expensive, I'll give them that. But I'll put a link to where you can get these as well. I'll just put this size, and I mean, I'm sure you can search these things, guys. But they're well-known tools. But yeah, they are really, really good, and I would really rate them. These are, you know, they do live up to the hype, these. They're great. Now, I'm going to do an honourable mention now, because I haven't really used this much. I've only just sort of got it. But this is something I'm quite excited about using, and it's the Super Odd Gekko gripper, sorry. Now, the reason I'm saying, I got sort of, basically, a friend bought one of the Klein, well, it was one of the Klein sort of apprentice bags, you know, with all this stuff in, and this came in it, and he said he wouldn't really use this, so because he didn't get what it was, and he gave it to me to sell. And I had a look at it, and I thought, well, no, I'll actually, you know, I'll have it, and I'll sort of, you know, I'll see what it's all about. And I looked what it does, and what you do is you'll sort of put it, as you can see there on the instructions there. It's a magnetized sort of, it's a magnet there, and you get one each side. Let me take it out and show you, because I'm not making any sense. Okay, so basically you get your string, yeah, and you'll attach your cable or whatever you want onto that string, okay, to pull it through a wall. So you might have a stud wall or something, or a double skinned wall or something, and something you can pull this down. And the idea is then you've got that on the top, and you'll pull it on the outside with the magnet, okay? And I've got to be honest, I thought to myself, oh, that would have to be a pretty strong magnet to do that. But I'm telling you now, guys, this is only getting an honourable mention because I haven't used it yet, but I'm really excited to use it. Check out this magnet. Boom! Look at that. That is a seriously strong magnet. And look how hard. Can you see the pressure? How hard I'm having to pull that to pull it away? It's like, it's like some kind of snake, and I'm going on about snakes now. It's like sort of snakes, some sort of snake went bang on a mouse or something. I mean, look at it. It gets so close, and it's just like, watch now. Boom! Look at that. It's such a strong magnet. And you know what? I really think, this will work really well. So I'm really excited to get to use this. So I'm going to get back to you on this, and I'm going to do a full review on this. So this is the Super Odd Gekko gripper, but that is a serious magnet on there. And this is actually 6 meters long as well. So, I'm doing my utility room at the moment, and I might have to just do a couple of things in there, and I'm going to be doing the bathroom. So I'm going to be using this for that at home, as well as at work when I need to pull my cables through at work. And I'm going to use this now because it does seem like it is going to be wicked, that is. Just, you can see how much I've been playing with the magnet. Just like, even if you don't use it for its intended purpose, it's just so entertaining. It's like a toy and a tool in one. It's just, bam. It's just, it's just a serious magnet. So I can't wait to use this. I think this is going to be really good. So this is the Super Odd Gekko gripper. So so I'll let you know how this goes, and I'll do a review on this. So I'm going to use this in the next couple of weeks now. Right, so that's it really, guys. So honourable mention for that as well. I think that's going to be really cool, that is. Now, so what have we talked about tonight? The 5 ends. So Linemans pliers. I think you may have got that. I quite like that. Linemans pliers. We've got the Wera Tool Check Plus. Okay. Wouldn't necessarily pay 60 quid for it, but if you can get it on offer, definitely worth having, and definitely worth investing in, the bits to go with it as well. If you're going to get that, it just makes it 10 times. If you invest these bits to go with it, it makes this 10 times the tool. It really does. Okay, so we've got the automatic wire strippers. Like I say, there's lots of different ones you can get. You can get cheaper ones than this, but this is the only one with a metal stopper and good handles on it. And honestly, if you don't get ones with these 2 attributes, you're going to be taking them back because your stopper's broken and because your handles come off, okay? I'm just saying that's been my experience, okay? I'm not saying that every single CK one I mentioned will do that. I'm saying the ones I had did that. That's just, sorry, that's what they did, okay? The CK plasterboard punch. Brilliant tool and cheap. Get yourself one of them. And if you win the lottery... Kidding, they're not that bad. They're probably about 30 odd pounds for one this size, and going well into the 40s for the 250s. Okay, but these are really worth having. They really do live up to the hype. They are expensive, but they are very good. Okay, so that's them then. Let's put them in front of you so you're not just looking at nothing and listening to me rabbit on. Right, so that's the end of the video then, guys. And like I say, please like and subscribe, and please comment, because I love talking to you about tools. Please comment on them, because, it's these comments that people do read. The companies do look at videos like this. They do read comments, and this is how we improve our tools. This is how they improve their service. They're interested in what we say, what we do, and your experiences with these tools. Okay, let me know what you think of these. Please like and subscribe. I'd really love to get up to the 1,000 subscribers mark, so please help me to do that. That would be amazing, guys, if we can do that. And thank you so much for everyone who's liked and subscribed already. I can take a breath now. Right, and also, guys, my Instagram at Dan's Tool Room, it's just coming up on the screen now. Please follow me on Instagram. I put a new post up every day, so that'd be great. And I'm going to try and do these YouTube videos now weekly at the same time. I'm going to go for Tuesday nights. And what I do, guys, I do these quite late at night because I've got 4 kids. And basically, they're in bed at night now. And, this is the time I get to actually do my tool reviews. So, I tend to sort of now do them at 9-10 o'clock at night. I have a late night. I'm up editing them and doing the covers for them and everything, and then I'll upload it overnight, so the guys in America will get it first, and then you'll get it on the next morning. So that said, if I do get like a new tool or something, I can't wait to review it. I might do an extra one as well. So that's it then. Okay, well, thanks very much, guys. thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video. And I'm just about going to keep it under half an hour, so that's cool. And I will catch you on the next one. Night, night.